Sony Xperia XZ Premium Hands-On. Introduction. MWC is an information overload galore. Now that we've covered the main announcements, and we have them out the gate, we spent some extra time with one of the stars of the show, the Xperia XZ Premium. Our initial reaction was that this phone would rise or fall based on two things, its screen and its camera. We were super excited by seeing the first phone with Snapdragon 835. But we weren't allowed to test that, so that performance will be out of the focus of this article. The 4K HDR mobile screen is the first of its kind. To be clear, this is not the first 4K screen. That honor goes to the Xperia Z5 Premium. It is not the first HDR screen either. That was, briefly, the Note 7. It's the combination of the two that is novel. HDR content, however, is still hard to come by unless you use the subscription-based video streaming services by Netflix or Amazon. Even then, you have to keep an eye on the supported standards, because as things stand right now, there are two competing HDR video standards, HDR10 and Dolby Vision, and the XZ Premium only supports the former. The Motion Eye camera with 960 FPS slow-mo video is another first of its kind. There's nothing on a phone that comes close to it. Most top out at 240 FPS, and its other tricks are similarly unique, namely photos free of rolling shutter and predictive capture. Unfortunately, the final answers will have to wait for a final unit. Any tests we run on this pre-production unit may not hold for the release hardware and software. So we'll leave the tests for later. For now, we'll focus on our first impressions instead. Sony Xperia XZ Premium at a glance. Body: glass loop surface, Gorilla Glass 5, IP68 waterproofing screen, 5.5 triluminous display, 4K resolution, 2160 x 3840 px, HDR chipset, Snapdragon 835 running Android 7.1 now Cat camera, 19MP Motion Eye camera 1/2.3 XMR f/2.0, steady shot, anti-distortion shutter, predictive capture video, 4K video recording, 720p at 960 fps slow-mo selfie, 13MP 1/3.06 XMR f/2.0 memory, 4GB RAM, 64GB onboard storage, microSD connectivity, 1GB PSLT, USB-C battery, 3230 mAh, quick charge 3.0, Knovo adaptive charging fingerprint reader, market-dependent audio, stereo speakers, high-resolution audio. If you are curious, here's how the Sony Xperia XZ Premium looks next to the Z5 Premium. The Z5 edition promised a lot of novelty as well, like the first 4K mobile screen, but it failed to make ripples in the pond that we're calling the mobile industry. It didn't even get a successor for quite a while, but that changes today. MWC 2017 Sony second review. Sony Xperia Z5 Premium, left, Sony Xperia XZ Premium, right? Join us on the next page as we take a closer look at the Xperia XZ Premium. The body. Yes, we said screen and camera, but we can't overlook their packaging. To its credit, Sony delivered on the Xperia flagship legacy. The phone is waterproof, IP68, it comes with the latest Gorilla Glass 5th General, and it has S-Force front surround, aka stereo speakers. Still, the unofficial motto of the 2017 Mobile World Congress was bezels be gone. Even Sony's own Xperia XA1 Duo boasts a borderless edge-to-edge screen. And yet the XZ Premium has bezels in spades. It's even slightly bigger than its very own predecessor, the Z5 Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Sony Xperia Z5 Premium, left, Sony Xperia XZ Premium, right? What the LG G6 shed in bezels, the Sony gained. The upcoming Galaxy S8 similarly wages war on bezels, but not the Sony. Its top and bottom bezels are of iPhone Plus proportions, its side bezels, similarly ample. Even the old Z5 Premium was smaller in all directions, lighter and yet with a bigger battery. Sony Xperia XZ Premium next to the Xperia Z5 Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. The front reflective glass can be any color. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on mirror, mirror. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Sony Xperia XZ Premium next to the Xperia Z5 Premium. The front reflective glass can be any color. Mirror, mirror. We don't think that Sony going against the grain here will be a boon for the Xperia XZ Premium. The mirror finish of the luminous chrome color option, the one we got, is far from a practical choice. It's impossible to keep clean, but it does look cool when viewed from a distance. This one is a show pony, not a workhorse. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. More objectionable is the choice to chrome the front bezels too. On the Z5 Premium, Sony had the decency to keep the front black. The mirrored front on the XZ model reflects all your surroundings, which can be quite distracting. It pulls attention away from the screen, something we couldn't get used to in our short experience of handling the phone. Xperia XZ Premium on top of the Xperia Z5 Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Xperia XZ Premium on top of the Xperia Z5 Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Xperia XZ Premium on top of the Xperia Z5 Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Xperia XZ Premium on top of the Xperia Z5 Premium. When Sony announced that the phone uses a glass loop surface, we thought that the glass wraps around the entire phone, even on the sides. The reality is much more standard than that. What they were referring to is the design approach, where the front glass seamlessly transitions to the metal sides and onto the glass on the back. There's a loop, but it's not a glass loop of any kind. The front and back glass panels are straight and not curved in any way. The loop is formed by the metal sides. Handling the Xperia XZ Premium. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. Handling the Xperia XZ Premium. We don't mind the weight, which is substantial at 195 grams. The whole phone feels so sturdy as if it's cut out from a single aluminum block. What we do mind is that they could have fitted a slightly bigger battery inside. The 3230 mAh cell is less than what the Z5 Premium had. We're yet to try out the battery efficiency of a Snapdragon 835 chipset. Who knows, the change in capacity might not matter that much. The screen. When 4K TVs started hitting the scene, people didn't know how to feel about them. The previous jump, from SD to FHD, was eye-opening. It stunned viewers with its clarity. Going from 1080p to 4K mostly caused shrugged shoulders as we saw diminishing returns from the increase in resolution. Then HDR came about and a consensus quickly formed. The wider dynamic range actually made it worthwhile to upgrade your old 1080p TV. Sure, content is rare but it's multiplying. Just think. Soon you'll be able to watch night scenes that are not black on black and high contrast scenes that aren't washed out. And here's the thing, HDR is separate from size. While we could sit and argue for hours if the 4K resolution is worth it on a tiny 5.5 screen, an HDR image is clearly better than an SDR image. Highlights and shadows are rendered better, gradients are smoother, colors are more abundant. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. 4K on the small screen is not without its uses. Take virtual reality, for instance. Sony, however, still hasn't found a way to put the insanely high resolution on this screen to good VR use. All current VR headsets don't have enough resolution, especially the mobile ones. With a 4K screen and a powerful GPU, courtesy of Qualcomm, the Sony Xperia XZ Premium was perfectly poised to conquer the mobile VR market. But we guess the PlayStation division did not want the competition. While on the topic of gaming, we think that will be the biggest source of HDR imagery, at least at first. Sure, Amazon, Netflix and others have HDR shows and movies, but HDR rendering is very popular in games. It's a key selling point of the Xbox One S. The PS4 had it since day one, and it makes a great difference in the realism of game graphics. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. In the end, we think that 4K resolution on a phone screen is overkill as it is. HDR is a game changer, though, both literally and figuratively. The camera. It's no secret that Sony makes some of the best image sensors in the world, and many successful cameras, from phones to DSLRs, have a Sony sensor at their heart. Apple, Samsung, LG, Xiaomi and many others use Sony sensors to great effect. Sony Mobile, somehow, never quite managed to nail it. But we'll bite our tongue and not discuss image quality now. That's a discussion to have with a retail unit in hand. For now, let's focus on what the Sony Xperia XZ Premium promises. Sony Motion Eye camera samples shot on the Xperia XZ Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on Sony motion eye camera samples shot on Xperia XZ. For one, Sony dropped the resolution down to 19MP, but retained the same physical dimensions of their previous 24MP 1/2.3 sensors, and as a result, pixels got 19% bigger. We applaud this move because daylight photography with phones is a solved problem, but low light shots remains an issue. And the Premium still has the edge on other phones that hover around 12MP to keep pixels large. You may think that Sony should have gone for a brighter aperture, its f/2.0. However, the Google Pixels showed that a f/2.0 aperture is enough for a best-in-class low-light photography, no matter what Samsung and LG PRS say. The proof is in the pudding, though. We'll see if the XZ Premium can match the Pixels, which also use a Sony sensor, by the way. Sony Xperia XZ. Sony at MWC 2017 Apple iPhone 7 Sony at MWC 2017 Sony Xperia XZ. Apple iPhone 7. But pixel size is far from the best feature on the new sensor. The sensor in the motion eye camera is the first to have onboard memory. It seems this has allowed for a much faster readout of the image from the sensor. The Xperia XZ Premium camera can read out the full resolution image much faster than a traditional camera sensor. This prevents the rolling shutter or jello effect where straight vertical lines distort when you move the camera while recording video. Sony Xperia XZ Premium hands-on. The camera can also snap full-resolution photos in the background, which enables the predictive capture feature. It uses motion detection to pick out the best moments to snap up to 4 photos, which will be shown after you hit the shutter button. That means that even if you missed the right moment, the motion eye camera probably caught it. We heard the iPhone users saying living photos do the same thing. They don't. They are not even photos, but instead low-resolution, low FPS videos. We're talking 4 full-resolution still images here. The most attention-grabbing feature enabled by that onboard memory, however, is the 960 FPS slow-motion video mode. We certainly had a lot of fun with it. It captures 720p videos and slows a part of them while duoing. The slowed down portions can only span for 0.18 seconds of the real-life timeline, but that's plenty to capture things you've never seen with your bare eyes. For normal videos, the Sony motion eye camera shoots the expected 2160p at 30 FPS videos. Here are a couple of samples we shot using the Xperia XZ, but the XZ Premium will perform identically. Sony also enhanced the panorama mode. This has no relation to the onboard memory that we know of, but it was a long time coming. Let's be honest, panorama mode, even on the original Xperia XZ, was not good. It was low resolution,